Every agency owner I've ever spoken to have always told me the same thing. They're so focused on getting in new clients, new clients, new clients, new clients, new clients, and they're never actually thinking about the clients that they do have, which is why, churn for them is so high. And then they end up just losing the clients they have. So they're in a constant motion of getting a client, losing a client, getting a client, losing a client. And then they look down the line and they're like, I'm putting so much effort in and I'm closing all these clients throughout the year. Why isn't the revenue the business making increasing? And what a lot of them don't understand is, ah, I've got a massive churn problem, which is equaling my acquisition. So there literally is one way in, one way out for the business. And I think every successful business at one point was like that until they realized that systems were the differentiator and they were the reason why people would stay with you. Because it doesn't matter how good your marketing or whatever you're selling is, if you're not in constant communication with the client and actually making sure the deliverables are up to the certain standard. Now, I know for a lot of people, they might just be doing great work and they believe it's on the client. Like the client might be coming and saying, you know, it's been a slow month. Like we're getting into winter and it just doesn't perform well. Let's say if you're doing it for like a driveway company during the winter, they don't do so well because nobody really wants their driveway done in the winter. It's more of like a summer or spring type of deal. So the driveway companies are like, okay, these ads or this website isn't performing well. And then it's up to you to go to them and say, it is performing well, but it's just the season. And then there's a lot of blame there. And a lot of that could just be stopped and, avoided with good systems and good communication. So, what does that actually mean? When you do have these clients and you are delivering for them, having the communication, telling them what's involved from them and what to expect beforehand is massive. So a lot of people do say that, onboarding is the most important part. And honestly, it is, especially for setting the expectations and the authority of how the next 90 days, the next 6 months, the next year is going to go with the partnership between you and them, because a lot of businesses have been burned by marketing before, and it doesn't matter if you're the best marketing agency in the world if you're not speaking to them properly, you're not in constant communication at least like every month. It should be like every 2 weeks at least. Well, it kind of depends on the service. If it's high ticket, like multiple £1,000 retainers a month, you should be in contact with them every week with a check-in. If it's, medium, like 500 to 1,000, then that's when like 2 weeks to a month report will do. But when it is those high ticket retainers, like the most valuable, literally paying, you're literally burning money and throwing away the possibility to keep them by not just reaching back out to them and checking in on them, even like, and that's why even setting up an automation, one of the most simplest things, which is now what I do, is you set up an automation so every month it checks in with them. He checks in and you can time it well. You could do it a week before the billing's due, a week after the billing due, depending on what it is you kind of feel works best. With that's up for you to test it, and it depends on the business because a lot of people are like, okay, I want to check in and make sure everything is good for the billing or after the billing when they're feeling, I'm just spent £1,000 or I've just spent this. And there might be in that sort of thing, especially with marketing services, because you can be a great marketer, but sometimes it genuinely isn't up to you whether that marketing performs to an extent. Because tell me if this sounds crazy, but if you do run a marketing agency or you run like a website agency and the leads are coming in and you are helping them get them, whether it's from, social media agency or videography work, the leads are coming in, but they're not responding to them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they come in and those clients aren't responding to them. They'll wait a couple hours because maybe they're busy or on the job or doing whatever they're doing, and then they decide to message them. And now that lead that you both worked so hard for, spending the money on, making the videos for, getting the website to convert and let them fill in the lead form, and they reach out, and now it's too late because they had no system. They had no system in place to help them capture the leads and make sure that the leads were already getting booked in, which is now what I do. So I run a business that helps other businesses set up a system that can answer all of the incoming responses. It can help qualify them and then book them in using AI and automations. And I think a lot of people are misunderstanding this step, especially in agency owners when it comes to themselves and their clients. And so now my business model has switched completely from, okay, how many new people can I get in, to how many people can I get in as a lifelong business partner. So how many people can I get in who will now join along for the ride and stay with me for like a year, 2 years, 3 years. And how exactly do you do that? You become embedded into their business and you become such an asset that they don't look another way because they don't want to look another way. And I think that's a very important thing. And I think that's how like you graduate to the next level of your agency, making sure you have clear communication systems in place for communication, allowing the leads to get qualified and filtered through. Because if you're not, then there's always just going to be the blame game. It's always going to be this isn't working, and it doesn't matter how good it is.